Hello, I'm Richard Bogert, President of Bogert Aviation. I've been an aircraft mechanic for 37 years and a professional IA for 30 years. I'm going to talk to you today about Piper battery boxes. There are basically two different kinds of Piper battery boxes that have been in use. The metal battery box like this one has been in use for over 50 years. And the plastic battery boxes used in many of the Cherokee aircraft have been in use since 1975, 37 years. During that time, they've served well, but time and the elements, battery acid, have taken their toll on these boxes, and we have a better way. Well, let's talk about the Piper metal battery box. They used an insulator on the side of the box, a carry-through stud, and a flat braided strap that was just soldered to the stud on the inside. And the negative side, they used a flat braided strap that was just soldered into the box here, and then this was your ground connection. First problem is, well, and they have a paper insulator here to protect the inside of the box from shorts. These terminals, these connections were never very good. Because they were basically just braided material that were impregnated with solder. Once they were torqued down, they would loosen up over time as the solder squished down. It would become loose. And then corrosion and the loose connection would cause high resistance connections there and heat that would sometimes melt the battery posts right off the top of the battery. You can see this box was sent to us by one of our customers. Battery acid is eaten right through the box. There are holes here. There are numerous little pinholes in the bottom of the box. And right around the drain tube, you can see the drain tube has been rotted off. And around the drain tube it's been leaking. The bad thing about this is not so much what the battery acid has done to the box, but what this battery acid is doing to your airplane is it's leaking out of the box and getting between the aluminum skins, working on the skins and the rivets in your airplane. So it was fine in its day, but after 50 years it's had enough. The other box, the plastic battery box, you can see what's happened to this one. Pull this apart. You can see the plastic is brittle, cracked, easily flakes away. The drain fittings and vent fittings crack. This particular one doesn't look like it's leaking yet, but certainly the box is in bad shape. There's been some leaking around the rivet points where the brackets rivet onto the box. It's just kind of a mess. Anyway, this is typical on Piper aircraft from 1975 and on. These electrical connections are really terrible. The first thing that happens is, of course, there's corrosion, creates high resistance. The high resistance does two things. It generates a lot of heat, and besides the heat, it's causing voltage drop, which means that because we're generating heat here, we're not getting power to the starter, and so aircraft suffer slow cranking speed and so forth. Lots of times it comes right back to the battery connections and these ground cables. Okay, so we back in 1986, we got an STC to modify the Piper battery boxes with our battery box mod. Now this is one of those battery boxes that has had the mod done to it. The round insulator here is removed, the cover plate riveted on over the hole. There are two templates that we supply as part of the battery box mod kit right here that are used to cut out slots. After that, the battery would go in the box. The heel plates, as we call them, slide into their respective slots. The battery cable, the post on the battery cable falls right over the battery post. Put your wing nut on it and you're done. You don't have to mess with trying to get the battery in and out past these cables, because remove the battery, this just lifts out of the box, battery comes out, back in, real easy. This does a couple of things. You know, here we have problems with shorting out against the side of the box because of the way it's designed. Now our terminal is insulated. There's no metal near the battery connection because of these heel plates. We talked about the Piper battery box mod that cleaned up the battery boxes electrically, really improved their performance that way. But given the 50-year-old age of some of these boxes, it's just not practical to try to repair them or keep them in service. So Bogart Aviation has come out with direct replacement battery boxes that replace the metal style box. They're also FAA PMA approved for replacement of the plastic battery boxes that have been in service since 1975. The stainless steel box is heavy gauge construction. All the seams are TIG welded, unlike the original box, which was just soldered together. The original box used, well, this one's been replaced. You can see somebody tried to epoxy in a different drain tube here. The reason this was replaced was because the drain tube on the original was just a piece of copper tubing that the battery acid would make short work of. And the vent tubes are also just copper tubes. On the new battery box, I'm going to tip this back so you can see under here, the drain fittings are stainless steel threaded fitting that's TIG welded into the bottom of the box, and then stainless steel threaded fittings that screw into that. So they're replaceable, they're cleanable, they're not going to corrode. And then the vent tubes are also stainless steel threaded fittings welded into the box, and then brass threaded fittings that just screw into those vent tubes. And they can be screwed in and positioned wherever they need to be for installation on your aircraft. And on this end, it's standard configuration, just like the original. The master relay will just attach to the end of the box, just as the original does. So to install this box, you basically remove the relay, remove the 4 bolts that hold the original box in place, then bolt this one down in place of it, install the relay as per the original, and you're done. It's a very simple. Okay, let's talk for a minute about Concord battery installations. Concord batteries, there are 2 basic types. There's the standard G35 battery in Piper aircraft that have been made by a number of manufacturers, and then there's the Concord. The Concord varies from the standard battery in that we have a terminal that requires a 6mm bolt to attach the terminal, and Concord places their battery terminals closer to the edge of the box and closer to each other. And this is problematic for installing battery cables to this because you're so close to the edge of the box that the idea of shorts are a real possibility. Now, you imagine, look back to the original Piper box that had that braided strap. The braided strap is going to be laying right next to the metal box, and chances of a short's pretty good. If you look at the other side here, the other side has one of the Bogart Aviation Concord battery adapters installed. What it does, it moves the battery connection point inward, away from the side of the battery box, and it also raises the battery connection up to the same height as a standard G35 battery. Installation of here's one of the mods. It's just basically machined copper. It fits right over the top of the battery post. There we go. Making it look a lot harder than it is. We'll just snug that down a little bit. Rotate the terminal away from the side of the battery box, aligning it with the center of the cutout here, and then it can just be torqued down. Now when the battery needs to be installed, the cable, the battery box cutout slips in. The cable falls right over the top of the battery post. You put in the 6mm cap stud, and away you go. It's safer, it's cleaner, it's easier maintenance-wise, and of course these are removable and transferable from battery to battery. So you only need to buy this once. Well, this is a G35, standard G35 series battery that is probably the most commonly used in Piper aircraft. Notice we have wing nuts that hold the battery cable in place. Here's one without the cable on this side. I'm going to, well, it's a little tight, so I'm going to use the Bogart Aviation battery terminal tool here. It's designed to fit those battery wing nuts. Pull this off. Show you how easy this is. So, the terminal comes off, the battery cable and the battery box mod piece, which is these inserts, these nylon inserts, are part of this box when you buy them. It's included. Drop the washer, the lock nut on there, start the wing nut, and then we use our battery terminal tool to tighten the battery terminal. It's ready for the cover to go on. Put the wing nut on this, safety of the two wing nuts together, and you're ready to go. Very simple operation. This stainless steel battery box is available from Bogart Aviation for Piper and single engine aircraft. Soon we'll have an STC battery boxes available for Cessna aircraft. Battery cables are available from Bogart Aviation. We build battery cables for many different makes and models of aircraft, Cessna, Beech, of course Piper, you name it, we probably make cables for it. The battery terminal tool for G35 and G25 series batteries, the Concord battery adapters for using Concord batteries in these battery boxes, and the battery box mod for the original Piper battery boxes that still have the old braided straps in them. We know that those aren't much good. This is a big improvement for those batteries. So call us at 1-800-627-8088 or 509-736-1513, or visit us on the web, www.bogart-av.com, and our sales staff is info@bogartaviation.com. If you can't remember any of that, just Google Piper battery boxes and you'll find us. Thank you very much.